शाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सकलललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम श्रीमादाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय श्रीमती राधानाथ स्वामी नामे नमः। कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भद्रे वेदांत स्वामी नामे नमस्ते सरस्वती गौरवाणी प्रचारणे विशेष मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं जयते गिरिव्यक्तिपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनदारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. It's nice to see you all. So last week we completed discussion on chapter 14, the three modes of material nature, and we'll be beginning chapter 15 today. Chapter 15 is a very sweet and very enlivening chapter entitled Purushottama Yoga, or the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Purushottama Yoga. One of the features of this chapter, of course it is famous for various reasons, but one of the reasons this chapter is famous, anybody knows? One of the reasons this chapter is famous is because it is the shortest chapter in the Bhagavad Gita. Okay. How many verses? 20 verses. Chapter 14 is 27. Chapter 15 is only 20. So that is why some people love to by heart chapter 15. Shortest chapter to by heart. So you may have even heard the first few verses. Very popular to recite chapter 15. Anybody knows chapter 15 by heart? So it's nice, chapter 15 is very nice. Urdhva adashatham ashwatham prapavyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedas vedve. So it's very nice, very sweet. So chapter 15 is aptly described as the yoga of the Supreme Person, because in this particular chapter the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very nicely established, and how he is connected, or how he is the Lord of all living entities as well as material nature, is again re-emphasized. If you remember, at the end of chapter 14, after describing the various modes of material nature and their qualities, their effects, the Lord answers Arjuna's question of how to transcend the modes by giving one very emphatic advice. What was that advice? What is Krishna's advice to Arjuna to transcend the modes? How to transcend the modes? How to go beyond the three modes of material nature? Sorry? Yo mam avyavicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Those who practice undeviating devotional service to me, avyavicharani bhakti yogena sevate, those who serve me like that, sagunan samatityaitan, they can cross over all these modes, and brahma bhuyaya kalpate, they attain to the spiritual platform. So what you are always contemplating about, that state of consciousness you achieve. Right? Where does the Lord mention this? Which chapter? Which chapter does the Lord specifically mention whatever you think, that state of consciousness you will achieve? Homework question? Okay, homework question. Huh? Find out. Whoever will give me this answer, I will give them a special gift. You can resort to any means to get this answer other than asking another devotee. Which means you can Google, you can read, anything you can do. And of course, husband and wife can ask each other, but other than that, you cannot go and ask. And nobody should phone Chandrika and ask what is the answer. So please find out. The question is, where, in which verse, which chapter, the Lord says that you achieve that state based on what your mind is always fixed on. Okay? Very good. Ashwin is directly going to the index. Anyway, so the Lord says that. So that is why, if your mind is always focused on material activities, depending on what mode of material nature those material activities are, your consciousness automatically becomes absorbed in that mode. Correct? Which means, if you are a teacher and you are all the time studying, teaching, then which mode of nature will you develop? Teaching is what mode? Is it in mode of passion, ignorance, or goodness? Teaching. Goodness? How many of you see goodness? How many of you see passion for teaching? Teaching obviously cannot be ignorance, right? Teaching and ignorance are exactly opposite. So teaching is generally in the mode of goodness, unless you are teaching others how to become suicide bombers. But I am talking about positive education, yes. Okay, so all positive education and teaching is in the mode of goodness. So if you are absorbed in positive sattva guna activities, automatically your consciousness becomes in sattva guna. If you are a business development manager for an organization and you are busy all the time looking business, money, business, money. And then after spending 10 hours in the day like that, you want to be in the mode of goodness. Good luck to you. It will be tough. Not impossible. Nothing is impossible. Arjuna could fight and kill and still be transcendental. Okay, so nothing is impossible. But it is not easy. if one is absorbed in an activity which by nature is passionate, which all the time is forcing you to think, what gain I will get, what gain I will, now what should I say that I can get this from him? Okay? If that is all the time your mental consciousness, how can you expect that your mind will not be predominantly in Rajogun? Okay? And if you are in a meat shop, Papa's meat shop, I don't know why they give such names. Papa's meat shop. And you're sitting there with a big block of wood. Throughout the day you are doing that. What kind of activity is that? Goodness, passion or ignorance? Correct? After going home, even if you stand in front of the altar, what are you going to think? Very hard. Very hard. It's hard. So whatever activities, whatever the mind focuses on, whatever qualities one is absorbed in, automatically one's consciousness becomes of that quality. If you associate with a red colored dye, you will have red color all over you. Correct? You cannot see why there is a red color. Obviously, you touched a red colored dye, you are going to get red color. If you touch blue color, you will get blue color. So what you touch is your choice. Now once you touch it, you can't say why the color came on me. Correct? Why I cannot remember God while I am chanting, I cannot understand. Because throughout the day you have been doing everything else other than remembering God. Obviously your consciousness is so absorbed in other modes. When you sit down to remember God, your mind will still go in other directions. You have not trained your mind to focus on the spiritual platform, to fix your mind on the transcendence. So Krishna is saying here, in the end of the 14th chapter, if you are always absorbed in undeviating devotional service to me, and which guna is devotional service? Is it in Sattva guna? Devotional service is Sattvic? How many of you say Sattvic? How many of you say Rajasic? How many say Tamasic? How many of you say none of the above? Tell me what kind of mode is it? Yes, it is not Sattva guna. Selfless service to the Supreme Lord is not Sattvic. Selfish service to the Supreme Lord is Sattvic. But selfless service to the Supreme Lord is beyond the modes. Is Trigunatit, is beyond the Trigunas. Because God is beyond the Trigunas. If our consciousness is absorbed in serving Him without any selfish motivation, our consciousness is pulled out from matter and also comes in contact with the spiritual platform. So the God says, if you want to go beyond the modes, engage in this avyabhicharini bhakti. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samatityetan. Samatityetan means he goes beyond, he transcends, he jumps over them. Yes? You understand jump over? Jump over. I came across a very interesting example a few years ago. It somehow stuck in my mind very much. It was just a small quote. And I probably have mentioned this in some of my earlier classes. It says, one way to not get wet when it is raining very heavy. How to not get wet? Let's say there is no, of course, assume that there is no building that you can go and enter in. It is raining really heavy. And obviously you don't want to get wet. How can you save yourself? Okay, umbrella, one option, right? Okay. My experience with umbrellas in heavy rain is not very good. Okay. You will get wet up till here. Only this part of your body doesn't get wet. Otherwise you're all drenched, even with an umbrella, especially it's windy. What else can you do? Maybe go under a tree, go under a raincoat. Even when I was in school, even when I would be in raincoat, it wouldn't still be so comfortable. It wouldn't be so nice. I would still get reasonably wet, if not fully drenched. So it's a very interesting insight. Yes, we can do various things to limit damage, but it came with a totally different idea. If it is raining heavy, two umbrellas, two umbrellas will get more wet. You will not know which one, only one you can hold over your head, no? Okay. So one way to escape from the rain, they said, go above the clouds. It's a very interesting perspective. Yeah. You can be at the same place from a vertical sense. It is raining. One day is you are still at the same place, but you just go up. You go so up that the rain which is coming from the clouds is under you. Then will you get wet? You can actually do this, by the way, not by jumping high, but if you are in a hilly region, you can literally walk up a mountain to a point where you go higher than the rain clouds. It is actually possible. No, that is impossible. I am not talking about jumping high. You can actually walk up and go. Clouds are lower than you. You are at the higher peak. It is raining all around you, but you are higher than the clouds. You are not affected. So, I am just giving an example. What does it mean to transcend the modes? Because material nature will still continue, no? Because even if you become transcendental, even if you become spiritual, your boss will remain the boss. Your mother-in-law will still remain the mother-in-law. Your children will still be the same children. Your neighbors will be the same neighbors. Correct? Your condominium people will still be similar. So, your being transcendental may not immediately change your circumstances. The rain will still fall, but you can, by your consciousness, go above the clouds. And even if it rains, it doesn't bother you. It doesn't matter. Okay, you understand? So by fixing your consciousness on the spiritual platform, one goes beyond the modes. The modes may act because you are still in the material world. Situations will still come, but it will not disturb your consciousness. You can watch the rain and not be affected. Yes? Okay? This is a bit hard to understand. Unless we can actually transcend, and then we will understand more clearly what this example means. Okay? But at a higher elevated state of consciousness, the modes may still be active, but because one is detached from the bodily concept, one can see the modes acting, but one keeps a distance, and that is why it's unaffected. Actually, this concept was already explained in the earlier verses. It's a bit hard to understand unless one has purified himself to be able to understand this concept of how one can have detachment and see these modes acting but still be unaffected. It is like this example, going above the clouds. You still see it raining. The rains will continue, the interaction will continue, the clouds will be there, the thunder will be there, the lightning will be there. You are still peacefully situated without your consciousness being affected or disturbed. So, spiritual consciousness, by fixing the consciousness on the Lord, on the service of the Lord, one can actually transcend. So that was the essential instruction at the end of chapter 14. Krishna says, if you want to transcend, also you have to do bhakti. 12th chapter already said, bhakti is the topmost. After explaining 14th chapter, again he is saying, if you want to transcend, you must do bhakti. Then, in the beginning of the 15th chapter, the Lord very interestingly starts explaining about the Vedas and what is the goal of the Vedas. And that is where the topic of the Supreme Personality of Godhead emerges, and then the Lord establishes Himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, so it's a very, very interesting chapter. Very sweet, very purifying chapter. So we go through a few verses, the first 2 or 3 verses. I don't know whether we can actually, let's see how we do, whether we can do first 3 or not. Please repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Ashvatham prahuravyayam. Ashvatham prahuravyayam. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Yastam veda savedavid. Yastam veda savedavid. Once more. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Urdhvamulam adhashakham. Ashvatham prahuravyayam. Ashvatham prahuravyayam. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Chandamsi yasya parnani. Yastam veda savedavid. Yastam veda savedavid. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upward and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. It's a very cryptic verse. How many of you can make sense of this verse even after reading the translation? It's a bit cryptic, right? Anybody understood what is Krishna talking about? Now let us understand first what Krishna is saying in simple English. He is saying there is a imperishable tree. What kind of tree? Banyan. Some people said banyan tree. So no, not banyan. Banyan. You know the difference between banyan and banyan, right? Anyway, we'll not go into that topic. In India there are banyan trees also, but that's for a different reason. So it was a question mark. It's okay. We'll not go into that topic. So banyan tree, imperishable banyan tree. So what are the characteristics of a banyan tree? What are the characteristics? What about the roots? Roots go upwards, huh? They go downwards, right? What do you mean roots go upwards? Banyan tree, trunk, tree, the roots are coming downwards, right? Roots are coming down from the branches, right? The roots come down, touch the ground, enter the ground, another tree comes. Roots come, go down, another tree comes. In olden times it is said that there used to be forests, full forest which have come from one tree. And for miles the banyan tree would continue. Miles. The Bhagavad describes such places. I think even in Naimisharanya it was like that. Olden times. I know why there is a question mark on your face. Because Krishna says upwards. Huh? So Prabhuji is saying downwards, Krishna is saying upwards. I'll explain. Okay, so neither Krishna is wrong nor am I wrong. But you have to understand. Okay? So that is the secret. Okay? So The normal banyan tree, the roots are hanging, coming downwards. But what is Krishna describing here? It is describing a banyan tree which has its roots going upwards and its branches are down. Okay? So what is Krishna describing? Krishna is describing an upside down banyan tree. Understand? Okay. He's saying roots are going upwards and the branches are down. Okay. Normally branches are up and the roots are coming down. Here branches are down, roots are going up. What does that mean? Upside down, right? Correct or not? So Krishna is describing an upside down banyan tree. He is saying that tree is imperishable, is very hard to understand, and he is saying the leaves of that tree are chandamsi. You know what is a chanda? Chanda is a meter. What does the chanda use? A chanda is used to sing a particular verse in a particular meter. The Vedas are usually sung in a particular chanda. Can you give me an example of a chanda? Gayatri Chanda. Chanda is a particular meter of singing. Even when we recite the Bhagavad Gita verses, we can recite it in a particular chanda. Okay. Chanda is a poetic meter. Okay? Chandamsi yasya parnani, the leaves of this upside down tree, each of the leaf is like a verse of the Vedas. Yastam Veda Savedavet. He who has figured out, understood this tree, he sorted out. He has actually understood the purpose of the Vedas. Yastam Veda, he who has understand, is Vedavit. What does Vedavit means? He has understood the Vedas. Which means, if you have to understand the Vedas, you have to understand what this upside down tree is. That is the puzzle. So now we have to figure out what is that puzzle. Why Krishna is, what is this that Krishna is describing? So all this is explained in detail in the purport. Okay. We'll decide verse 2 and then we'll discuss it. Okay. Please repeat after me. अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणप्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवादाः अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. Okay, so now this whole idea is a bit hard to grasp. I'm going to give you a high level understanding. We'll not do too much technical detail, otherwise it can be confusing. But basically, what the Lord is trying to do here is, the Lord is trying to come up with He has given an analogy to make us understand the nature of this material world. The Lord has compared this material world to an inverted banyan tree. Inverted banyan tree. Okay? And he says that there are many branches, some go up, some go down, each of the leaves are like Vedic verses. There are generally roots going upwards, but there are also some roots which are going downwards. The twigs are the sense objects, and the branches are nourished by the three modes of material nature. So question number 1, where do you see an inverted tree? Where can you see such an inverted tree? Anywhere in this world you can see such an inverted tree? Cannot. Yes. If there is a big banyan tree on the bank of a huge lake, if you look into the lake, in the reflection of the tree, you will see the tree upside down. You will see the tree exactly like it is described here. So you see it upside down in a reflection. What is the characteristic of a reflection? Whatever is highest in the original object, when it becomes reflected, what happens? Goes the lowest. And whatever is the lowest becomes the highest. Okay? This is the nature of reflection. So the Lord is comparing this whole material world to actually a reflection of the spiritual world. A temporarily manifested reflection. So there is one eternal abode of His, which He describes a few verses later. I'm just giving you this idea up front. A few verses later, the Lord says, Natan bhasete suryo nashyanko pavakaha yad gatva nanivardante tadhamam paramam mama. 4th or 5th verse, I think the Lord mentions. That world is my spiritual world, but then when that world becomes reflected temporarily, it looks like this inverted banyan tree. And what is the water on which this world gets reflected? The spiritual world and the material world. The material world is a reflection, but the reflection requires a water. What is that water which causes the reflection to exist? Consciousness. You are very close to it. What type of consciousness? There is consciousness in the spiritual world also, there is consciousness in the material world also. What kind of consciousness causes the reflection? A consciousness which has material desire. Consciousness which is fully selfless and always focused on serving the Lord doesn't create a temporary reflection. But a consciousness which has material desire, that desire becomes the basis of the reflection. You understand? So while we are pure spiritual living entities, now we are in this reflection, which is this temporary material manifestation, because of our material desire, which has caused our consciousness to get reflected on the other side, from the spiritual platform to a material platform. Understand? In this reflection, the main trunk of this tree is coming from up, from Brahmaloka. And as you go down, there are the higher planets and then there are the lower planets. The higher branches are the Swargas, the lower planets are the Narkas and the earth-like planets. So many living entities are staying on these different branches. The higher branches are nourished by Sattva Guna. The middle branches are nourished by Rajoguna. The lower branches are nourished by Tamo Guna. And on all the branches, whoever is living, they are enjoying sense enjoyment. The twigs on the branches, they are enjoying. according to their gunas. Yes? The branches are being nourished by the three gunas. And then, Chandamsi yasya parnani. The leaves of this tree are the Vedic knowledge. Because the Lord, when the world is created, He gives the Vedic knowledge. Because through this knowledge, one knows two things. How to live nicely in this world and how to get out of this world. Yes? Out of these two, which one is more important? How to get out of this world. And while we are trying to get out, we want to live nicely. This is okay, no problem with that. Yes? While we are trying to achieve spiritual perfection, it's not that we want to be poor, we want to be diseased, we want to be ugly, we want to be suffering, hungry. No, right? Not necessary. That by itself doesn't give spiritual advancement. So scriptures give instructions on spiritual emancipation. Also give us instruction on how one can lead a sattvic, dharmic life in tune with nature, in tune with the laws of the Lord, and remain in this world in a way that will bring physical, emotional, mental and spiritual happiness for us even while we are here. Chandamsi yasya varnani. Okay, clear so far? Now we will read verse number 3. Then we discuss it again. न रूपमस्येह ततोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च संप्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असंग शस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत् परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणी The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to that Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. Okay? Interesting? So what is Krishna saying in verse 3 and 4? Now that I have explained 1 and 2, what is Krishna saying in 3 and 4? Very easy to understand, huh? What is Krishna saying? You should read. It's very difficult to understand. When you are in this reflection, when you are conditioned, it's very difficult to know where it starts, where it begins, how it has come. When you are trapped in the reflection, you cannot figure out you are a reflection. You become forgetful, you just get trapped. When you are outside, you can see both the tree and the reflection. It's easy. When you're trapped in the reflection, it's very hard to understand where is the root. How has this all started? What is all this that is going on? That is why you need the Chanda of the Vedas, right? Because the Vedas are explaining, you are in an inverted tree. Now I know, I'm an inverted tree. But why am I here? You are here because you are a naughty boy. Why am I naughty? Because you don't want to serve God. You want to enjoy your senses. That's why you are naughty. So that is our original sin. What is the original sin? Like in the Christians they say, right? In the Christianity they say, God said, don't eat the apple. Man said, I want to eat. So basically not following the laws of God. I will give that example. But the essential principle is not following the instructions of the Lord, the system the Lord has created, and wanting to enjoy independent of the system in a different way. God says, eternal life is here with me, Satchidanand. He says, no, I don't want to be with you. Why? My choice. Actually, there is no good reason, but the soul simply becomes rebellious. Correct? Sometimes children are like that, no? They cannot give you any good reason why they want to do something different. Correct? Because I want to do. You will get hurt. Okay. Correct? Some children are like that, no? They are stubborn. And after making them understand, also they don't understand, then what parents say, okay, look, you go, you fall down, you cry, then you come. Okay? So the rebellious living entity is like this. He suddenly gets this desire. Why sorry? Who you? Why you are trapping me in the spiritual world? I want to go and see what is there. Some reflection beyond this. So nice, shining. The Lord said, no, don't go. This is where there is eternity, that is a reflection. There is temporary, there is no substance. There is forgetfulness of me. There is forgetfulness of your real identity that is affected by the three modes. There is papa and punya. There is duality there. Happiness, distress, loss and gain. Sukha and dukkha. Why do you want to go there? You are telling me don't go, means surely there is something nice there. The child's mentality, right? The ignorant child's mentality. I want to go. Fine. You go, but I'll make sure to help you. All the leaves of the tree will be like Vedas. Everywhere my instructions will be there for you. I give you all the knowledge. Of course, if you still don't want to read it, I can't do anything. You're not there, no? The leaves. Chandamsi. But how many people want to look at the leaves? Even though it is easily available. Everybody knows, right? Bhagavad Gita is given by the Lord. Correct? In this condominium, how many people know that Bhagavad Gita is the word of God? Even amongst the Hindus. I don't think there is anybody who doesn't know. Correct? But how many are still making an effort to read and understand? Very few. Anyway, so that's the choice. And until we make that effort, we remain trapped. So the Lord is saying, when you are inside this, you are trapped, you don't know. You need the knowledge. Only when you learn the knowledge, you can actually understand the real nature of this world. And if you want to escape from this world, if you want to escape from this banyan tree, you must cut it down. You want to get out from this illusion, you have to cut down this tree, this inverted tree. How to cut down? How to cut down this tree? Why are you looking at me? Look at the Bhagavad Gita shloka. Which was a good answer. Detachment. With the acts of detachment. Shastrena dridam chitva. Asanga shastrena. Asanga means detachment. With the weapon of detachment. Asanga shastrena. Asanga shastrena dridena chitva. with firm determination, grit. It's not easy. Not that you just lazily take the axe and hit it like this and the tree will fall down. No, with great determination, sometimes you have to work for lifetimes to try to cut the tree. And as you are cutting the tree, you should know why you are cutting the tree. Don't be like Sheikh Chili. You know the story of Sheikh Chili? How many of you know Sheikh Chili story? This also happened to Kalidas. I don't know whether Sheikh Chili story was copied from Kalidas story. You know that story? There was this foolish man who was sitting on the branch of a tree. He had an axe in his hand and he was busy cutting the very branch that he is sitting on. Is that a good idea? Obviously not, right? So you break the branch, you also go down with the branch. So he was like that. So while we are cutting down the tree, we must be fixed on going somewhere else. So what Krishna is saying here, you must not only cut down this tree, this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment, thereafter one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns. Which place is that? Having gone, one never returns. Vaikuntha. In the spiritual world, having gone, one never returns. And there, surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began. Everything includes the reflection. Reflection also began from Him. From whom everything began, the ultimate source. Yes? That's why the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita says, right? The Lord says in the 10.8. What does it say, 10.8? Read out. One must surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. What is 10.8? I am the source of
all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise perfectly know this, engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
I am the source of the spiritual world and I am the source of the material world also. Those who know this, worship me with all their heart, correct? So you know this by reading the leaves of the Vedas. Once you know it, you worship me with the same thing, no? Essentially. You cut the tree. You become detached from the material world and simultaneously you must become attached to Krishna. In spiritual life, especially in the bhakti approach, one doesn't simply become detached from the material world. The purpose of becoming detached from the material world, is essentially to facilitate our attachment to Krishna. Why are we not able to devote ourselves to Krishna 100%? Because we are distracted by Maya. Because we are attached to a materialistic way of life. So when we become detached from a materialistic way of life, automatically we become more, and not automatically, but that helps us to become more easily attached to Krishna. It removes impediments. So spiritual advancement is a process of simultaneous detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna. Yes? Simultaneous detachment and attachment. So some people ask, what is spiritual life? Is it about detachment or attachment? What is our answer? Normally, most people, if you ask, they will say spiritual life is about detachment. Detachment, no money, no. Not this. No, you are detached for what reason? What is the whole purpose of your detachment? Some people think by being detached I'll be free from misery to a certain extent, which is true. Which is true. But that is only a secondary effect of detachment. What is our primary motivation for detachment? Our primary motivation for detachment is my attachment in this material world is the cause of my distraction from fixing my consciousness on Krishna. Correct? When I am standing in front of Krishna, I am thinking, oh, I wanted to see this movie. So what will happen to my rent which I have to pay tomorrow? What is happening to my job? All other things will come because our attachments will all come in our mind. Whether we are praying, whether we are doing japa, whether we are doing arti, our mind is somewhere else. Why? The mind is attached. So Krishna is saying, asanga shastrena dridena chitva, cut it. And the process of cutting it is all this what Krishna has explained throughout Bhagavad Gita, right? Karma, yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, bhakti yoga. These are all processes of cutting. Also in karma, jnana, dhyana and bhakti, there is also attachment. But bhakti is focused so much more on attachment than on detachment. And other processes like jnana are more focused on detachment than attachment. Okay? But the goal is ultimately there should be both detachment and attachment. Because if you simply try to be attached to Krishna without trying to be detached or without making an attempt to be detached, your attempts at attachment will fail. Correct? If you have 10 girlfriends, it's very hard to convince one of them that you only love her. Because she will definitely see you with one of the 9 other girlfriends, sometime or the other. You cannot focus your mind on one if you are distracted by hundreds of other things. You will not be fully devoted. You will fully not be fixed. You have to be detached and then focused. Okay? Detachment from matter, attachment to Krishna. These are two sides of the same coin, Prabhupada explains, in the process of spiritual advancement. Any questions so far?
Why the roots upward and downward with
the upward roots are actually indicating that the origin of this tree is actually coming from the higher realm. Ultimately from the Brahman platform, from Brahmaloka, then the lower planets are created. So the roots which are going up, the main roots, is actually indicating that. The small roots which are going downwards, Prabhupada explains, these are our various desires and attachments, which pull us in different directions, our attachments and aversions.
why only banyan tree example?
Because the banyan tree has the roots like that. There is no other tree which has that kind of roots. The banyan tree is actually a very sacred tree. There's no other tree, right, which has that kind. I mean, that whole family of trees, which has the roots going from up to down. Okay, so you can read through the purport and you will get a bit more finer understanding. So, just quickly summarizing, the Lord is explaining briefly the nature of this material world by comparing it to a upside down banyan tree and saying that this upside down banyan tree is actually a reflection of this real banyan tree which is in the spiritual realm, or which is the spiritual realm. And those who are trapped in this reflection, they must seek out the source of this reflection, which is the supreme Lord Himself, and one must become detached from the twigs on the various branches of this reflection. By becoming detached from the various types of sense enjoyment, learning from the knowledge of the scriptures, one must simultaneously cultivate detachment from sense enjoyment and attachment to Krishna. The best process for that, obviously, as Krishna has already mentioned, is avyabhicharini bhakti. Yes? Okay. For example, even when as bhakti sadhakas, we practice bhakti yoga, there are aspects of both attachment and detachment in our spiritual practice, right? Some of you are already regularly doing sadhana, yes? So when we talk about sadhana, when we talk about chanting the holy names, that is an exercise in attachment, correct? You want to attach yourself to Krishna. When we are worshipping Krishna, it's an exercise in attachment, yes? But when we are avoiding breaking the 4 regulative principles, no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, this is an activity in detachment. Is it not? Fasting on Ekadashi, not telling lies, correct? Maintaining bodily cleanliness, mental cleanliness, austerity, tapaha, dana, yajna. These are all methods of purifying oneself through the process of detachment. So Krishna says, these processes should never be given up. Yajna, dana and tapa, which in the later chapters he mentioned, in chapter 17 or 18 he mentions. Yajna, dana and tapa, I think in 17 if I am not wrong. Anyway, he mentions Yajna, Dana and Tapa purify even the pure souls, and one should never give up Yajna, Dana and Tapa. So detachment, attachment. Correct? If one is just cultivating attachment to God, but not cultivating detachment, then it doesn't work. Then one day you will be with Krishna and one day you will be with somebody else. And one day you will get caught and the whole world will say, oh, see, this guy is such a cheat. Because if one doesn't make an endeavor for detachment, a purposeful endeavor for detachment, and continues to enjoy materialistic enjoyments, then the purification is very slow. It will not be so effective. So it's very important that one follows both the do's as well as the don'ts as explained by the Lord and as taught by his representatives, the various spiritual masters. Any other point, question? Okay, we'll do Kirtan for a few minutes. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swami Vidinamani Gaurachandra.